Hello students, I am Asma, Zoology faculty from Sri NRI Junior College. Today in this video, I am going to explain you about first year important LAQ, that is Periplaneta Americana, that is cockroach digestive system. Cockroach digestive system can be studied under two main headings, that is alimentary canal and associated digestive glands. Alimentary canal of cockroach is a long tube. It is coiled at some places. And associated digestive glands. Associated digestive glands includes hepatic CK, glandular cells of the mesenteron, and salivary glands. Digestive system of cockroach consists of alimentary canal and associated digestive glands. Alimentary canal is a long tube-like structure and it is coiled at some places. And associated digestive glands includes hepatic CK, glandular cells of the mesenteron, and salivary glands. First of all, we will discuss about the alimentary canal of cockroach. Alimentary canal of cockroach is divided into three parts. That is foregut, midgut, and hindgut. Alimentary canal of cockroach is divided into three parts. That is foregut, midgut, and hindgut. Foregut, otherwise called stomodium. And midgut, otherwise called mesenteron. And hindgut, otherwise called proctodium. First we will discuss about the different parts of the foregut. Foregut consists of different parts. They are mouth, pharynx, esophagus, crop, and gizzard. These are the parts of foregut in a sequence. In front of the mouth, a cavity is present. It is called preoral cavity. The cavity which is present in front of the mouth, which is surrounded by mouth parts, is called preoral cavity. This preoral cavity is divided into two parts by hypopharynx. What is hypopharynx? Hypopharynx is nothing but tongue. This hypopharynx divides the preoral cavity into two parts, that is anterior cibarium and posterior salivarium. Cibarium opens into mouth and salivarium opens into hypopharynx. Next, foregut divided into different parts. Once again I am repeating, foregut divides into different parts in a sequence, that is mouth, pharynx, esophagus, crop, and gizzard. In front of the mouth, a cavity is present. It is called preoral cavity. This preoral cavity is divided into two parts by hypopharynx, nothing but tongue. This hypopharynx divides the preoral cavity into anterior cibarium and posterior salivarium. Next, mouth leads into pharynx. Mouth leads into pharynx. It is a short tube, and this pharynx leads into a short, thick-walled esophagus, tubular esophagus. Next, esophagus leads into thin-walled distensible sac called crop. Thin-walled distensible sac called crop. Next, crop acts as a reservoir of food materials. Once again about the crop. Crop is a thick-walled muscular structure which is useful for storing of food materials. Next, crop leads into gizzard. Gizzard acts as a grinding mill and sieve. Gizzard internally made up of with 6 chitinous plates or tooth, which consists of hairy pads and also consists of backwardly directed bristles. These bristles and these 6 powerful chitinous plates are useful for grinding of food material into fine particles. Totally, gizzard acts as grinding mill and sieve. These bristles are useful for filtration of the food materials. And gizzard leads into mesenteron or midgut. Here is the diagram of the digestive system. We already discussed that digestive system of cockroach consists of 2 parts, that is alimentary canal and associated digestive glands. Alimentary canal divided into 3 parts, that is foregut, midgut and hindgut. First we will discuss about the foregut. Foregut starts with mouth. Foregut starts with mouth, and mouth leads into pharynx. Pharynx leads into esophagus, and esophagus into crop. Behind the crop, gizzard is present. Gizzard is the last part of the foregut. First, in front of the mouth, a cavity is present. It is called preoral cavity. This preoral cavity is divided into 2 parts, anterior cibarium and posterior salivarium. This foregut, otherwise called stomodium. Next, foregut is internally lined by ectoderm. Cuticular inner lining is present in foregut. Mouth opens into pharynx. Pharynx is a short tube-like structure, and pharynx opens into esophagus. Esophagus is a narrow tube-like structure which opens into crop. This crop is thin-walled distensible sac which is useful for storage of food materials. Next, crop leads into gizzard. Gizzard is a thick-walled muscular structure which is useful for grinding of food materials. And inner walls of the gizzard consists of 6 chitinous plates. 6 chitinous plates are tooth, and these chitinous plates consist of hairy pad-like structures. Behind these hairy pads, bristles are present. These bristles are useful for filtration of the food materials. Totally in the gizzard, food materials are masticated into fine particles. So gizzard acts as a grinding mill and also acts as a sieve. Next, at the junction of gizzard with mesenteron, hepatic CK are present. At the junction of gizzard with mesenteron. Mesenteron is the second part of the alimentary canal. Mesenteron is the second part of the alimentary canal. At the junction of the gizzard with mesenteron, 6 to 8 hepatic CK are present. They are also called midgut CK. These hepatic CK are digestive and absorptive in function. This hepatic CK are 6 to 8 in number. These are finger-like diverticula which are present at the junction of gizzard with mesenteron. Mesenteron is the second part of the alimentary canal. Next, gizzard also consists of a funnel-like projection. From the gizzard, funnel-like projection arises. This funnel-like projection leads into mesenteron. This funnel-like projection, which is formed from the walls of the gizzard, is called stomodial valve. Funnel-like projection formed from the inner walls of the gizzard are called stomodial wall, which leads into mesenteron. This stomodial wall allows the flow of food from gizzard into the mesenteron only. It prevents the regurgitation of the food from mesenteron to the gizzard. Means stomodial wall, which is nothing but funnel-like projection formed from the inner lining of the gizzard, which extends into the mesenteron, is useful for prevention of regurgitation of food from mesenteron into the gizzard. This stomodial wall allows only flow of food from gizzard to the mesenteron only. Next, mesenteron. It is the second part of the alimentary canal. It is endodermal in origin. Next, mesenteron, otherwise called ventriculus. It is also known as midgut, and it is internally lined by endodermal cells. Internally, it is lined by endodermal cells. Next, mesenteron divided into two parts. Anterior part of the mesenteron is secretory in function. And posterior part of the is absorptive in function. Here mesenteron is the second part of the alimentary canal. It is also known as ventriculus or midgut, and it is internally lined by endodermal cells. And mesenteron divided into two parts. Anterior part is secretory part and posterior part is absorptive part. From the secretory part, digestive enzymes are secreted. In the presence of digestive enzymes, digestion takes place. Next, in the posterior part, it is a absorptive part in which absorption of the digested food materials takes place. Absorption of the digested food materials takes place in the posterior part of the midgut. Next, third part of the alimentary canal is hindgut. Hindgut is the last part of the alimentary canal. It is also ectodermal in origin. Internally, it is lined by cuticular lining. It is ectodermal in origin. Hindgut otherwise called proctodium. Hindgut divide into three parts, that is ileum, colon and rectum. What are the three parts of the hindgut? Ileum, colon and rectum. Ileum is a short tube-like structure and ileum opens into highly coiled structure called colon. Colon leads into colon leads into rectum. It is a short bulb-like structure. Next, at the junction of mesenteron with hindgut, 6 to 8 bundles of yellow colored structures are present. They are called Malpighian tubules. At the junction of mesenteron or midgut with hindgut, 6 to 8 bundles of yellow colored structures are present. They are called Malpighian tubules. These Malpighian tubules, although associated with the digestive system of cockroach, but they have no role in digestion. They are excretory in function. These Malpighian tubules are excretory in function. These Malpighian tubules are bathed in hemolymph. What is hemolymph? The blood of the cockroach is called hemolymph. They collect nitrogenous waste material in the form of uric acid from the hemolymph and these Malpighian tubules carry this uric acid into the ileum. Ileum is the first part of the hindgut. Ileum is the first part of the hindgut. So these Malpighian tubules are present at the junction of mesenteron with hindgut. Hindgut first part is ileum. So Malpighian tubules collects nitrogenous waste material in the form of uric acid and they releases this nitrogenous waste material in the ileum. And from the ileum, nitrogenous waste materials and undigested food materials are passed into colon, which is the second part of the hindgut. Colon is highly coiled long tube. Next, colon leads into a bulb-like structure that is called rectum. The inner walls of the rectum. Inner walls of the rectum are thrown into 6 longitudinal folds. These 6 longitudinal folds are called rectal papillae. Rectal papillae are useful for reabsorption of water from the undigested food materials. Next, rectum. It is the last part of hindgut. Ileum, colon and rectum. Rectum is the last part of the hindgut. This rectum consists of inner walls of the rectum thrown into 6 longitudinal folds. These longitudinal folds are called rectal papillae. These rectal papillae are useful for reabsorption of water from the undigested food materials. Now this is about the description of the alimentary canal. I will repeat this description of alimentary canal once again. Alimentary canal of cockroach consists of 3 parts. They are foregut, midgut and hindgut. The three parts of the alimentary canal are foregut, midgut and hindgut. Foregut consists of mouth, pharynx, esophagus, crop and gizzard. The cavity which is present in front of the mouth is called preoral cavity. This preoral cavity is divided into two parts, anterior part and posterior part, by hypopharynx. Hypopharynx is nothing but tongue. This hypopharynx divides the preoral cavity into two parts, that is sibarium and salivarium. Next, mouth leads into pharynx. Pharynx is a short tube-like structure which opens into long, narrow short tube called esophagus. Narrow short tube called esophagus. This esophagus leads into crop. Crop is thin-walled distensible sac which is useful for storage of food materials. Crop is useful for storage of food material. It is a thin-walled distensible sac. Next, crop leads into gizzard. Gizzard is a small bulb-like structure. The walls of the gizzard are internally lined by cuticle. Next, gizzard consists of 6 chitinous plates. These 6 chitinous plates consists of hairy pad which consists of backwardly directed bristles. These bristles are useful for filtration of the food material. Totally, this gizzard acts as grinding mill and sieve. Gizzard is the last part of the foregut. This is about the foregut. Next, about hindgut. Next, about midgut. Next part of the next part is mesenteron or midgut. Foregut completed, no? Next part is midgut or mesenteron. It is also called ventriculus. Midgut, otherwise called mesenteron or ventriculus. At the junction of gizzard with mesenteron, 6 to 8 hepatic CK are present. These hepatic CK are digestive and absorptive in function. There is hepatic CK also known as midgut CK. Next, gizzard internally. From the gizzard, a funnel-like projection arises into the mesenteron. This funnel-like projection is called stomodial valve. Gizzard consists of funnel-like projection. This funnel-like projection which is formed from gizzard extends into the mesenteron, and this funnel-like projection is called stomodial valve. This stomodial valve allows flow of food from gizzard into the mesenteron. It prevents the backward flow of food from mesenteron into the gizzard. That is, it prevents regurgitation of food materials from the mesenteron into the gizzard. And at the junction of gizzard with mesenteron, 6 to 8 hepatic CK are present, which is digestive in function. Next, mesenteron or midgut. It is also called ventriculus, which is endodermal in origin. This mesenteron divided into two parts, anterior secretory part and posterior absorptive part. Anterior secretory part of the mesenteron secretes digestive enzymes which are useful for digestion. And posterior absorptive part which is useful for absorption of the digested food material. Next, in the mesenteron, a porous membrane is present. It is called peritrophic membrane. A porous membrane which is formed from the mesenteron is called peritrophic membrane. This peritrophic membrane is a porous membrane which is made up of with chitin fibrils in a glycoprotein matrix. This is made up of with mesenteron secretes peritrophic membrane. In gizzard, Food bolus is surrounded by peritrophic membrane. Food bolus is surrounded by this is food bolus, which is surrounded by, this is food bolus. In mesenteron, food bolus is formed. This food bolus is surrounded by porous mesh-like membrane. This porous mesh-like membrane is called peritrophic membrane. This peritrophic membrane is made up of with chitin fibrils in a glycoprotein matrix. This is the porous membrane, peritrophic membrane. It is secreted by mesenteron. In mesenteron, food bolus is covered by porous mesh-like membrane called peritrophic membrane. This peritrophic membrane is made up of with chitin fibrils in a glycoprotein matrix. This peritrophic membrane prevents the walls of the mesenteron from hard food particles. Once again I am repeating, mesenteron forms a porous mesh-like or network-like membrane called peritrophic membrane around the food bolus in mesenteron. This peritrophic membrane is made up of with chitin fibrils in a glycoprotein matrix. This peritrophic membrane which surrounds the food bolus is useful for preventing the walls of the mesenteron from hard food particles. Next, mesenteron leads into hindgut. Mesenteron leads into hindgut. This hindgut divides into three parts: ileum, colon, and rectum. Ileum is a short tube-like structure, and at the junction of midgut and ileum, 6 to 8 bundles of yellow-colored structures are present. They are called Malpighian tubules. These Malpighian tubules are associated with digestive system. They have no role in digestion. They are useful for excretion. These Malpighian tubules collects nitrogenous waste material in the form of uric acid from hemolymph and carry it into the ileum. So ileum is useful for collection of undigested food from the mesenteron and also collection of nitrogenous waste material in the form of uric acid. From the ileum, this undigested food material and uric acid is passed to the colon. Colon is a highly coiled tubular structure. Colon opens into rectum. Colon opens into rectum. Rectum is a bulb-like small structure, and the inner walls of the rectum are thrown into 6 longitudinal folds called rectal papillae. These rectal papillae are useful for reabsorption of water from the undigested food material. Next, rectum opens outside by anus. Anus is useful for removal of the undigested food materials in the form of dry pellets. This is about the description of alimentary canal.